Today's video, we will be looking at the Grade 3 Diagnostic Test for June 2022. The subject is mathematics. All right, so let's get to the first question. And of course, this paper has 60 questions, so I will be doing it in two parts. Since the video will be too long if I try to do all 60 questions in one sitting. Now, the format of this paper is a little different. They have put the questions on both sides. So what I'll do is I will try to make it go as big as possible, use just one side, and then I see if I can shift it over. All right. I always try to make it as visible as possible for students who might be using cell phones. Okay, so question 1 says, which of the following is the same as 653? Okay, so pretty much we're talking about expanded form. So which of the following is the same as 653? Is it 6 plus 5 plus 3, 60 plus 50 plus 3, or 600 plus 50 plus 3? So the correct answer for number 1 is C. It's a little bit too thick. All right, but that's fine. Okay. All right. So just if you're not sure, okay, you can look at it in terms of the place value. 3 represents 3 ones. The 5 represents 5 tens, which would be 50, and the 6 represents 100. So the 6 would be 600. Okay. If you also wanted to go about the addition route in terms of adding 6 plus 5 plus 3, that would not give you 653. So again, the answer is C, 600 plus 50 plus 3. Okay, might have to be a little bit smaller. All right, guys, don't pay attention to what's on the other side. The other questions are on the other side. We'll get to those shortly. All right, so question 2, which number does the blocks shown in the picture below represent? All right, so we are looking at the blocks. So the red blocks, if you by now, if you have been following, we have done a similar question on the 2021 past paper. So this block, there's 10 going across and 10 down. So this is 100. And then we have the green blocks. There are 10 units in each block, and there are 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So the total for the green units would be 70. And then we have 5 individual blocks, and so that's 5. So what number does this represent? 100 plus 70 plus 5. That's 175. All right, so the answer is C. Question 3. What does the diagram below show? Okay, is it 3 groups of 5, 5 groups of 3, or 15 groups of 1? Okay, so how many groups are there? All right, so we have 1, 2, 3. Let me do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. And in each group, we have 3 circles. Okay, so there are 5 groups of 3. So the answer is B. Question. Okay, so now we have to go to the other side of the paper. Based on how they have done it, I'm going to go to the other side of the paper. for question 4? A little bit tricky, but hopefully we are able to get it done. All right, so question 4. Now we pay attention to the left side of the paper. Question 4 says, which two sets are equivalent? Okay, so what are equivalent sets? Okay, so we're going to be looking to see what's similar. 1, 2, 3, 4 in set 1. Then we have 3 things in set 2, and then 4 in set 3. So what two sets are equivalent? Having the same number of members in a set, and that's sets 1 and set 3. So the answer is B. Again, guys, based on how they put the questions on the paper, then I'm working on both sides. So we just did 1 to 3. Now I'm doing 4, and 5 is also on the same paper. So we're now looking at 5, okay? So question 5, what is the total value of the coins shown below? All right, so we have 2 $20 coins, a $10 coin, and a $1 coin. So 20, another 20, $10, and $1. Okay, so what's the total? I'm going to add all of these together. 1 plus all the zeros, that's 1. 2 plus 2, that's 4. And 1, that's 5. So it's $51. The answer is A. All right, so let's get to question 6. Again, guys, just a reminder, and I just, in case you're not sure what's happening on the page, they have the questions in 2 columns on the paper. So we will look at one side and then we look at the other side for the other questions. All right, so question 6. What is 4 3/5 written as an improper fraction? All right, so this is a mixed number, 4 3/5. We have to change it to an improper fraction. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 4 3/5. All right, so in order to change this to an improper fraction, we have to multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then we add the numerator to the product, okay? So 5 times 4, that's 20. 20 plus 3, that's 23. And that goes over the original denominator of 5. So the answer is 23/5. Let's get to question 7. Which shape shows 1/4 shaded, or 1/4 shaded, or a quarter shaded? All right, so which shape shows 1/4 shaded? If you notice, these shapes do not have 4 parts, okay? So we're going to have to see which of these shapes, based on the number of parts shaded, would give us the equivalent to 1/4 shaded. All right, so let's look at them individually. So for A, we have 2 parts shaded out of a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 2 parts shaded out of 8. In B, we have 4 parts shaded out of 8. And then in C, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 4 parts shaded out of 5, okay? So it says which shape shows 1/4 parts shaded. All right, so 4/5, that cannot be reduced any further, but we can reduce 2/8 and 4/8. All right, so what we'll do is find a common factor of the numerator and the denominator. In this case, I'm going to be using 2 for the first one. Okay, so if I divide 2 by 2, gives me 1. And if I divide 8 by 2, it gives me 4. Okay, so 2 out of 8 parts is the same as 1/4, okay, or a quarter. All right, let's try B. I'm going to divide both by 4, since that's a common denominator, and it would allow me, I would not have to reduce it further. So I'm also going to be dividing this part by 4. That gives me 1/4 divided by 4, that's 2. So that's a half. All right, so the shape that shows 1/4 shaded would be A. Okay, so guys, remember, even though you don't see a shape that has 1/4 parts shaded, and I don't want you to get confused with C, because C would show 4 parts shaded and 1 not shaded, you're going to be thinking that's okay, that's 1 and 4. All right, remember, we have equivalent fractions, so we would have to know how to reduce these fractions that we get to perhaps the lowest term, and then be able to recognize that 2/8 would be equivalent to 1/4. All right, so that's question 7. I think question 8 might be at the top here. All right, so we have question 8 at the top here. All right, let me go over to that one as much as possible. Try to get the other one off the page. All right, so don't get distracted by that one, guys. It's just based on how they have done the papers. It has to be on that side. All right, so question 8 says, which fraction family does 1/6, 4/6, and 5/6 belong? Okay, does it belong to the 6th, 4th, or the 5th? Okay, so we're going to be looking at the denominator, and the common denominator there is the number 6. So these fractions, right, they all belong to the 6th, okay? So 1/6, 4/6, and 5/6. So they belong to the fraction family 6th, okay? So the answer is A. Let's get to question 9. All right, let me reduce this a bit. Okay. I need to perhaps reduce it a little bit more, and a little bit more, so we can see all the options. All right, but by doing that, we have all of 7 on this side showing. All right, so let's focus, guys, on question 9. All right, so question 9 says, which set of circles shows the same fraction of shaded circles as shown in the rectangle below? So in the rectangle below, we have 2 out of 3 shaded, okay? So they have shaded 2 out of the total 3. All right, so let's compare the others. In A, they have 2 shaded out of 6. In B, they have shaded 4 out of 6. And in C, they have shaded 4 out of 4. So, which of these sets of circles shows the same fraction of shaded circles as shown in the rectangle? So the rectangle is 2/3. Of course, there are no other option that says 2/3. So again, we're going to be looking for a fraction that's equivalent, has the same value as 2/3. How we do that? We can reduce these fractions to their lowest term and then see if it gives us the same as the fraction in the rectangle. All right, so I could reduce this. I'm going to do a different way of reduction. Before I was doing it when I divide it, but I'm just going to do some canceling. So 2 into 2, I'm dividing both by 2, goes 1, and then 2 into 6 goes 3. So this fraction would have been 1 over 3. All right, for this one, I'm going to be reducing it by 2. That's the common factor of both the numerator and the denominator. So 4 divided by 2, that's 2. And 6 divided by 2, that's 3. Okay, so 2 over 3 again. So I'm seeing the similarity there with B. So B seems to be the answer. But let's look at C. 4 out of 4. We divide both by the same number. It gives us 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And that's 1. This fraction is actually 1 whole. Okay, 4 out of 4 parts. That's the entire thing. All right, so with set of circles shows the same fraction of shaded circles as shown in the rectangle. That would be B. Okay, so a little bit. Let me erase some of what's here on this side, since you would have done this already. All right, so the answer for question 9 is B, 2/3. Right, we would have to sometimes reduce these fractions to the lowest term in order to see the possibility. All right, so I don't know. No, I can't do it this way. All right, because sometimes, well, for this one, I would not be able to make it much bigger because I want you to be able to see the options at the same time you're viewing the question. So for question 10, Debbie's shampoo is about 7/10 full, right? 7 out of 10 parts full. Which picture shows the amount of shampoo in Debbie's bottle? Is it A, where the shampoo is almost at the bottom, B, where shampoo is almost full, or C, where it's pretty much halfway? All right, so which one shows about 7 out of 10? That means 7 out of 10 means it's past halfway mark, okay? So I'm going to, and I hope you guys too would be able to see that it's B. That's almost full, 7 out of 10 parts. So this one shows, gives basically the estimate of what 7 out of 10 would look like. If we were to divide this bottle into 10 equal parts, then the 7th mark would come somewhere around where the height of the shampoo is in the bottle. All right, question 11. It's a bit bigger. All right, question 11. Which number is 2068? 2068. All right, so 2068. Guys, again, you have to make these as practical as possible. All right, 2068, how is that written? Of course, the answer is A. But if you were not sure, 2068, you simply add 2068 and see what that would look like. And the answer is A, okay? That's what 2068 looks like. All right, and also if you, well, you could have done it the place value way, but this would be the safest way. Most of you would perhaps be able to recognize that this number, what the number is, but if not, add them and see. It just may help you to understand which of the numbers would be correct. All right, question 12 says, which digit is in the thousands place in the number 4983? Okay, 4983 again, place value. So this is in the ones place, the 3, start over here. This is the tens. This is hundreds. And this is the thousands. So which digit is in the thousand place? It would be the 4. Okay, so 4,983. The digit in the thousand place is 4. All right, so let's get to question 13, which is on the other side of the paper. All right, it says, which number sentence is the same as 10 plus 5 equals 15? Which number sentence is the same as 10 plus 5 equals 15? All right, so of course, 10 plus 15, that's 25, that's not the same. 5 plus 15, that's 20, that's also not the same. But 5 plus 10 is 15. So whether you say 10 plus 5 or 5 plus 10, the answer will still be 15. So the answer is C. Question 14. What is 5,643 rounded to the nearest hundred? 5,643 rounded to the nearest hundred. All right, so far I'm seeing that most of the questions are similar to the questions on the 2021 paper. So if you should check to see what areas you are weak in, then you can work on those weak areas so that chances are, once you work on those weak areas, then you would be successful in this exam in a few weeks. All right, so let's do rounding off. So 5, 6, 4, 3. It says rounded to the nearest hundred. So which digit is in the rounding place? It would be 6. That's in the hundred place. Okay, that's where we're rounding to. Now, what do we do next? So we identify the digit in the rounding place. Then we looked at the digit to the right. All right, is it 5 or more? Then we would have added 1 to the digit in the rounding place. If it's less than 5, then we do not do anything to the digit in the rounding place. So this digit would remain the same. We would change the ones to the right of the digit in the rounding place to zeros, and then we write back the numbers that would be to the left. So the answer would be 5,600. So pretty much what we're asking is 5,643 closer to 5,600 or 5,700. Okay, if it was 5,650 something, then it would have been closer to 5,700. But since the number closest to the digit in the rounding place is less than 5, then we round down. All right, so the answer for 14 would be 5,600. Moving on to question 15. Which number is less than 142? All right, so sometimes we can just eliminate some answers that are would be obviously incorrect. 418, that could not be less than 142. All right, so we look at option B and A. A says 124. Okay, 124 is less than 142. 148 is more than 142. So the answer is A, 124. And I know sometimes students have issues with their numbers, so you guys have to be careful. Sometimes you're seeing them in the incorrect order and they look all jumbled up to some of you. So you have to be careful that you are paying attention to the numbers so you don't see something that's not there. All right, question 16. What is the number name for fourth? Is it 4, fourth, or quarter? All right, the answer, as the number suggests, fourth. Okay, that 4 with the TH. This is how you would write that number name. Okay, question 17. And this was a question that came on the paper, but notice in this one though, if you look back at the 2021 paper, these same fractions appeared. However, in that question, they wanted you to order the fractions from the smallest to largest. In this question, they're asking you to order the fractions from largest to smallest, which is the opposite of what was done before. Okay, so let's look at, as I said, and I always tell my students, try to make it as practical as possible. So you have to draw these fractions and see what they look like. And you do that just to see what the options would have been. All right. So if I was to give you half of a cake, okay, or I gave you 1/3 of a cake, or I gave you a quarter of a cake, 1/4. All right, so which would give you the biggest slice? All right, obviously the half is biggest, 1/3, second, and then 1/4 slices. You would have gotten a smaller piece. So from largest to smallest would be half, 1/3, 1/4, and that answer is A. Guys, remember, we're not just looking at the numbers at the bottom, so I don't want you to think from largest to smallest would be the number that has 4 at the bottom or 3 at the bottom and then 2. All right, remember, we're looking at the entire fraction, both the number at the top and the number at the bottom. And then, like I showed in that illustration, how much would you end up with? What would give you the bigger piece? That's so you know how to arrange them from largest to smallest. As I said again, the same question, well, not the same question, but a similar question was given on the 2021 paper. These same fractions, but they were from smallest to largest. So be careful. Don't assume that it's the same question that you've seen before. It might just be a similar question. Okay, let's get to question 18. Again, we have to be working from side to side with these. All right, so question 18 says, which number should replace the asterisk or the symbol there for the number sentence to be true? So what number should we put over 4 to make it greater than 3/6? Okay, so what number goes over the 4 to make it greater, that fraction greater than 3/6? And by now we've been doing equivalent fractions. 3/6 is the same as a half. So would I put 1/4 is a quarter greater than a half? Is if I put 2/4, that's a half as well. So is a half greater than a half? No. But 3/4 is more than a half. Okay, so the answer is C. If I put 3/4, that would make it more than 3/6, which is 3/6 is a half. All right, question 19. What number does K represent on the number line? Okay, so K is right here. So what we're going to have to do is to determine what the increments are. What are the values between 200 and 300? How do we account for each of these? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so there are 5 divisions. So based on the fact that there are 5 divisions, I'm going to assume that this one is 220, 240, 260, 280, and then we're at 300. So they're divided in that way. So when we get to K, that would have been 260. So the answer is C. Okay, let me see. This is what 2. All right, it's too small for me to write it out. But as I said, based on the divisions, then they're being increased by 20 each time. So when you get to K, that would have been 260. All right, and they gave you a clue here, right? Between 100 and here, that's 140. So again, this would have been 120. So we're pretty much seeing that 2 places would have been 240, and then another one would have gotten you to 260. All right, question 20. Which fraction is the same as 4/12? Again, there's so many fraction questions on this paper. So guys, if you're not too good with fractions, then now is the time to make sure that you do. I do have some fraction videos on this channel as well. I don't know if I might need to do some for grade 3 students, but there are some fraction activities, videos on this channel, you can go look for them and learn how to do your fractions. All right, so which fraction is the same as 4/12? Again, we have to reduce this fraction, right? Find another fraction that's equivalent to, have the same value as 4/12. All right, so 4/12, again, if I reduce both by a common factor, all right, I can reduce both by 4. So that becomes 1. And that becomes 3. So the answer is 1/3. That's the equivalent fraction, has the same value as 4/12. All right, question, where did we get to now? All right, so we're not yet here. We're at 20, so we're going to go to 21. All right, so let's go over to this side of the paper. Let's get to this side of the paper, and we're going to make sure that I'm trying to make sure that I have it as close to the where you can actually see it. So let's look at it carefully. All right, so Mary was asked to use base 10 blocks to show the number 362. Okay, so the blocks she chose are shown below. Use this information to answer question 21 and 22. Okay, so let me try to see if I can make it. As I said, guys, you have to pay attention to the right side now because of how it is on the paper. I have to, it's a bit distracting, especially for younger kids, but just try to focus on the other side of the paper as we go through. Let me read that question again. Mary was asked to use base 10 blocks to show the number 362. The blocks she chose are shown below. Use this information to answer questions 21 and 22. All right, so she was asked to show the number 362. Well, looking at the block she chose, all right, that's not 362. So they're asking us to find out which number did Mary show instead. All right, so from our previous activity, we know that each of these red blocks, right, represents 100. So this would have been 200, okay? This is 100 right here, this one. And this is also 100. That's the second one. And then we have 3 sets of 10. So that's 10, 20, 30. And then we have 6 individual blocks or units. So we have 100 plus 100, that's 200. 236. That's what Mary showed. That's not what she was asked to show, but based on what she selected, then that's what her blocks, that's a number that's being represented by the block she selected. 200 plus 30 plus 6. All right, so let's get to question 22. It says, which set of blocks should Mary have chosen to represent 362? So let's look at the options. Which of these blocks should she have chosen to represent 362? So for 300, we would need 3 red blocks. Okay. Option A has 2. Option C has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And option B has 3. Okay. So far, B seems to be looking up to be the answer. So 360. All right. So remember, each of these is 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 62, so we need 2 single blocks over here. So B would have been the correct answer. And guys, you can take your own time, or as much time as you possibly can take, right? Given how long the exam lasts for, to make sure that you count them and that you are certain what you should have there. But in the interest of time, sometimes, I might not go through in as much detail, especially since we have done similar questions. All right, so question 23. All right, so it says, recall that 8 times 4 equals 32. What name is given to 32? 8 times 4 equals 32. Is it a factor? Is it the product? Or is it the quotient? All right, so when we multiply two numbers, the result is called the product. So the answer is B. All right, question 24. By how much is 300 greater than 216? So by how much is this number 300 greater than 216? So we will have to subtract 300 minus 216. All right, so you take away 6, we cannot. So you have to go all the way over here to get 1. And so 10 minus 6, that's 4. 9 minus 1, that's 8. Okay, so and 2 minus 2, that's 0. So the answer would have been 84. All right, so remember, guys, this is not necessarily a teaching activity at this point. Pretty much just working through some questions. So it would have, hopefully you would have already known how to do subtraction, since I pretty much did a shortcut. I did not explain in detail what I was doing. All right, so question 25. Which number statement is true? 120 times 0 equals 1,200. 120 times 0 equals 120. 120 times 0 equals 0. Any number that's multiplied by 0, the answer will be 0. So, of course, the answer is C. 120 times 0 equals 0. Any number multiplied by 0, the answer will be 0. All right, let's get to question 26. All right, then we have to go over the other side for question 27. All right, so mother baked 35 cupcakes. 7 broke as she removed them from the pan. She shared the rest evenly among her 4 children. Use this information to answer questions 26 and 27. So mother baked 35 cupcakes. 7 broke as she removed them from the pan. She shared the rest evenly among her 4 children. Use this information to answer questions 26 and 27. Which operation should be used to find out how many cupcakes were not broken? All right, so which operation? How are we going to find out how many cupcakes were not broken? We have the total there that she baked, and we know how much broke. So what we would have to do then is to subtract the cupcakes that were broken from the total cupcakes, and that would give us the result, the remainder. All right, so the answer for question 27 would be subtraction. 35 minus 7. That would give us the answer. All right, question 27. On the other side, which expression could represent she shared the rest evenly among her 4 children? Is it 28 divided by 4, 28 times 4, 28 plus 4? All right, so if you're sharing something evenly, that means you are dividing. So A would be correct, 28 divided by 4. All right, question 28. All right, almost at the end of part 1. Guys, please remember to subscribe to this channel, share with a friend. Okay, thank you. All right, so question 28. What is the sum of 648 and 425? All right, so sum means we are going to be adding. So 6 4, 7, and 4, 2, 5. Make sure your numbers are lined up correctly under each other in the correct columns. 7 plus 5, that's 12. The 2 is here. The 1 goes in the next column. All right, so 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2, that's 7. And then 6 plus 4, that's 10. So the answer for question 28 is A, 1072. All right, so 2 more questions to go, and then I see you in the other section. All right, so question 29 says, what is 64 minus 27? So 64 minus 27, 4 minus 7, we can't. So when we have a bigger number at the bottom, a smaller number at the top, we don't have enough, so we have to go and get from elsewhere. So we're going to take one from here. We're actually taking a 10 out. That's what we're taking out. All right, so we're going to be left with 5 tens. When we add 10 to 4, it becomes 14. 14 minus 7, that's 7. 5 minus 2, that's 3. So 64 minus 27, the answer is 37. All right, and let's get to question 30. A group of students is divided evenly into 3 groups. Which number could be the total number of students in the class? All right, so which of these numbers then can be evenly divided into 3 groups? Okay, which number is divisible by 3? Okay, so I don't know how you guys do your divisions at school. You can do it in different ways, and perhaps some of you might not even know how to do division. So if you have time again, if you have to draw your circles, if that's the last resort, you join your circles and then dividing up into groups, that's up to you. But also, if you know your multiplication tables too, then that can help you somewhat to answer these questions. All right, so let's try to divide 29, and I'm doing it this way. I'll try to do it different ways for this question. Depends on how you guys have been doing division. All right, so 3 into 3 goes 1. 3 into 29. 3 9s 27. Okay, so we have 9 groups, but we are left with a remainder of 2. Okay, we are left with a remainder of 2. So this number cannot be divisible. Remainder 2. All right, so we cannot divide this one evenly by 3. Let's try 47. Divide that by 3. 3 into 3 goes 1. 3 into 4 goes 1. Remainder 1. So 3 into 17 goes 5. And we are still left with remainder of 2. So that one wasn't divisible, evenly divisible either. All right, so let's try this one. I'll do this one a different way. All right, so we divide it by 3. 54. 3 into 5 goes 1. And we have 2. All right, maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. All right, let me just change and do it the other way, because I don't think I have enough space anyways. All right, so let's do it like I did the others. I don't want you to be asking, why didn't I do it the same way? All right, so 54 divided by 3. 3 into 3 goes 1. 3 into 5 goes 1. And remainder 2. So now 3 into 24 goes 3 8s 24. So the answer is 18. So this number 54 is can be divided evenly into 3 groups. So the answer is C. So there you have it, guys. The first half of the paper. I'm going to do the other one in short order. So I don't know which one you'll be seeing first, but both will be available at the same time. So hope you guys use these videos to help you get prepared for your exams. All right, see you in the next video.